Good night, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Senate. I well, you're joined by both of your hosts because it's not only me. The gentleman on my right, I guess. Derek. Me and Derek here. What's going on? Derek, how you doing, man?
I am here, cool, buddy. I get you twice, so there's the only thing.
You
But
getting me twice?
yeah, I got you on a loop.
So, all right, well, just introduce yourself. Tell the people where you can find your syndicate while I make sure that
Yeah, man.
everything's.
Derek Marshall here one more time. Happy to be here again. Uh, Ready to go. gsyndicate6.com, gsyndicate6 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the other social media. Everything is gsyndicate6. Um, we got a track coming out next Monday, so you can listen out and look out for that. So yeah, man. Good night, Mark. Good night, Ricardo Atkins in the host.
Yeah,
Got a
my
program
Ricardo, we're going on. Mark,
ready.
we're going on. Yeah, so everything all right with you? You know we like to do a wellness check, make sure everything good. You had a good weekend.
Yeah, man. Nice weekend. Uh, Quiet weekend, but quiet is good in these times, I suppose. But
Uh,
yeah, feeling good. Can't complain.
yeah, man. All right. So I hanging in there myself. Today was a hell of a day in terms of um yeah. Today was drama when it comes to like one of my neighbors had something very bad happen to her in terms of somebody carrying money from her. What else happened today? Oh, my son, he got a blood shot, so he thought that his finger was about to drop off. So that was bedlam. But yeah, I hear, as you can see, I'm smartly attired because you know you want feel good, you gotta dress sexy.
Yes,
So
sure, it's true, it's true. You got it.
no, all right, let me go up the energy here a bit, Derek.
Yeah, they look at me
So
a little all set just now, so
what
I
we
had to
good
close the
now?
window. Yeah, let me go. Let me rock. Let me
Okay,
rock.
okay, good. So no, good night, ladies and gentlemen. For those who have joined the chat, I see we got 10 people watching. But no, you know how it is, my man. There every Monday, just try to gain information. He puts a Facebook status out there, and you guys take to it, respond. And I want to thank everybody for the comments. Definitely a better discourse this time in the comment section in terms of people stating their mind and remaining civil and respectful. Very interesting point of views from most people. So what we can do here now is I can let my man Derek just let everybody know what he put out there because y'all saw the title, but just let y'all know he can give you a bit more information what we talking about.
Yeah. This week the title was the question was as incendiary as it would normally be. Kind of. I found that last week the tempers and the passions were a little high, so I decided, let me just walk it back a little bit. But next week for sure, I intend to come hit in a little bit harder. So in recent times we had all these different challenges. I heard of the cucumber challenge, I had the pea challenge, there was the hanger challenge, the busset challenge, and then the last one we saw the other day was the silhouette challenge. We touched on it briefly last week, but this week I wanted to get into the question because when you're doing research and stuff like that, you come across things and you say, hey, this is a pretty interesting topic. So I asked the question: are women looking for respect or attention when they participate in these different challenges? And should their partner be allowed to be concerned slash comment negatively about their participation in these challenges? And
Mhm.
it wasn't as contentious an issue uh, this week, admittedly, and kind of intentionally so. We
You
had
can't you can't
comments
you can't you can't go at them full tilt every week.
every week. You know what I mean? Interestingly enough, I found that a lot of the males again kind of stayed away from the topic. Well, at least publicly, because I did get the messages privately. I'll share what seemed to be the most applauded response that we got. And I won't share her name, but she said, I was not interested in the challenges. None of them spoke to me. Some of the ones you mentioned, I didn't even know about because I am at that stage in my life where my focus is a bit different to the new slash next fad. My focus is on me, personal growth, being the best me. We talk about that every week here. Expanding my knowledge, helping my community, building wealth, conquering my career, and having the most fruitful, engaging, supportive relationship with my king. So I missed a number of these challenges. Found that interesting, but we can come back to that part. I think that whatever a woman wants slash needs to do to feel and be empowered is her choice. If she wants to be naked on social media to feel empowered, then go for it, sis. What I am aware of is the fact that although the gender biased landscape is changing and there's more tolerance, more acceptance, and women have a greater voice, I just want sis to know that when she does it, that there could be some backlash. Job, partner, family, friends. As long as she's aware and is fine taking the risk of backlash, then go for it. I, for one, would like equality. Not only when it suits us overall, I want that women can freely express themselves. I want that women don't feel oppressed by their actions, sexuality, wants, or needs. I want that women can be respected as a person, as a human, regardless of if she's on social media naked or in a granny's robe. I want that our women and girls have the level of confidence, self-respect, and self-praise needed to do what they want and how they want. I want that our women and girls are not broken and suffering from self-esteem issues, lack of love, lack of empathy, and are fulfilling the need to be seen and loved with doing some of these challenges. But instead, that sis be whole and living in positivity. And if she wishes to do it, that it be supported for what it is, her choice. I don't have time for challenges, but a week for my sisters who need to do it out of a negative hole they need to fill. And I celebrate my sisters who do it in positivity and light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was a lot
Mm-hmm.
to
I
unpack.
think, yeah. In my opinion, so I know, I personally know one of the people that spoke, the person that was speaking about not being interested in challenges and stuff like that, and she's always been a level-headed woman. So let's unpack. Yeah,
Let's unpack.
let's
Let's
start. Let's start.
unpack.
So first things first. When I read your question, I saw and I'm actually surprised, and I commend you guys for not getting honest for it. Where it is now another man telling a woman what to do with her body. That is not what this is about. We are
Nope.
not telling a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. Because at the end of the day, if she wants to do whatever, that is fine. We are coming from the standpoint of, if you like, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That is a law of physics. And we have to understand that if we put our stuff on social media, private or not private, it is going to get out there and people are going to manipulate it. And like, people just buy. People, some of us are just creeps. Yeah. So we have to understand that there's a level of personal responsibility now. That's because I'm not even going into relationships yet. I think that based on your personal responsibility, your personal self worth and love, you should take it upon yourself to be discerning with what challenges you jump on or what challenges you don't jump on, and how that will, because social media, whether we are business or whether we are personal, private individuals, social media is really your brand. Yeah. Your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, this is your brand, whether you want to believe it or not. If you're a person that gets out there and you say incendiary stuff, people will say, well, like, look at Derek. And we saw that, I think it was last week, where a lot of people questioned you know, or looked at you a little differently because of the types of questions you keep putting out there. That is just par for the course. If you put out positive or negative or in between, people will associate you with that and figure that you personally are attached to that lifestyle or that trend or that behavior or that level of attention seeking. That is just what it is. Yeah. Having said that, I'm not saying that you should open your social media account only post you know, the best versions of you, or well, that's what social media is. But you're not supposed to just post yourself looking like an upright citizen or whatever. Sure, you could let loose. I'm not saying you can't think. I'm just saying, just know that if you put out whatever you put out there and people take it and run with it, it is a problem. Now, before we go on, I just want to share a quick story. when I was younger, I used to date a woman. She was the type of person back then we didn't have it. Matter of fact, back then it wasn't even a Facebook, it was high five. Just to show you
Jeez.
how just to show you for those of you watching wondering who's I see my mom Mark here in the thing. Mark, if you know it was high five, put some ones in chat. But yeah, high five. That's how long we talking. And I remember she was a very cantankerous person, and she would be the type of person to screenshot people's image or copy people's images and share them and talk bad about them or whatever. Yeah, not my proudest moment of dating someone. Um, yeah, Ricardo, I dated him myself. I mean, Dwayne, yeah, I dated myself. But yeah, the point is that even all the way back to the genesis of these social media platforms, the embryonic stages of these social media platforms, people have been using Facebook to do nefarious things. Taking screenshots, you could just hit print screen and information there. Yeah, you could copy and paste and do all sorts of crap. So things haven't changed, and men and women are guilty of it too. So I just want to say you have to be personally responsible to what for your brand, your personal brand, what you put out there. No, Derek, let's
Yeah,
talk
just
about it
before
from
we
the.
go on, Neil,
Go ahead.
with regard to that, we talk doing the same personal responsibility. A former practicing HR manager said they used to check profiles of prospective employees who apply for jobs. Um, with regard to that, now the person who responded, the young lady who responded, she said that there could be backlash from what you
Mm-hmm.
post. So it's okay to go on brand, right? That's kind of, branding is the catch thing now, the catchphrase these days. It's okay
Yep.
for you to go on brand and do what you want. But as you said at the top, Neil, every action equal and opposite reaction. You know what I mean? Everybody isn't cool with certain things, right? And I saw a thing, uh, a meme from Stefan Speaks earlier today, and he says
Mm-hmm.
that when you're in a relationship, you can't just do what you want. You got somebody else to consider. And let's not even look at the man woman one-to-one relationship. Look at the relationship you have with your friends, the relationship you have with your family and stuff like that. The relationship you would have with a prospective employer, you know. Um, you don't want to put something out there that could tarnish your reputation even before you get the opportunity to explore the relationship to its fullest. You wouldn't want to put something out that impacts, let's say, your earning capacity because um, you, I don't know, put out something that a little untoward, and then a prospective employer sees it and says, "Oh, I don't know if this is the person they want representing my company." Because at the end of the day, and you said it, it's your brand. So when you put out certain things, people look at that and say, you know what, this is who this person is. I often say to a lot of different people, social media is not a real place, right? Social media is not a real place. People put out their best lives on social media. They show you what they want you to see. And a lot of times it is people run with what they see. And you really have to be mindful of what you put out there for the public to consume. That www, World Wide Web, which means that it goes the world
Why?
over. It's
Yep.
worldwide. And guess what? It's a web. So it's connected. In the worldwide strand is a worldwide web. So everything interconnected. So you could put out, for instance, we have a very good friend. He's talk a role on social media and in person, right?
I
And some
already know who
stuff,
that is.
and so the stuff that he will put out on social media makes the rounds that comes back to him as if it was original content. And it's stuff that
Yep.
he originally put out, stuff that we hear
Mm-hmm.
on the basketball court every week. You know what I mean? And then you see it, and immediately when you see it, I know where this came from. But
Right.
he just put it up to have a laugh. But that stuff is going all over the place, end up on white collar crime and circle all the way back to him. So you got to be really mindful of what you put out. It's okay. It's okay for you to do what you want. Don't get it twisted. Everybody has the power of choice. Everybody is free to do what they like. And I want you to remember that the same way that you are free to do what you like, other people are free to do what they like. So, and like in Barbados, within the Barbadian context, we like to say a lot, man, nobody can hit me for talking out my mouth, for example. Right? That's something we like to say a lot. And you are free to talk out your mouth, as business would say. But guess what? Suppose what you say is offensive, and the person who's receiving what you're saying decides, you know what? You're free to talk out your mouth. I'm free to cuff you inside mouth.
Facts on facts. Facts. No. I see that live.
Yeah.
I've seen that live.
So people are free to do what they want. And the person decided, you know what, I ain't cuffing you mouth. He can get consequences for his actions. Your talking, your actions have consequences. You just got to deal with them. You know what I mean? So just be mindful of when you put it out there. It's out there. They really end up pulling it back.
There's no private, because a lot of people think that because you have your profile restricted, it can't be somehow be taken or seen by other people. So
because
I just want to make sure that people understand that.
Yeah, because we in the days now of screen recording and stuff like that, so stuff is never really gone. There's always a way to record stuff, save it, play it back, send it on to somebody else. So I encourage and implore people to be mindful of that and be cognizant of the people that you have around you who could possibly be impacted by the stuff that you put out. I asked the question. I think I tend to touch on it briefly last week. I will ask again for those who are in the chat or whatever. If your son, came up through life, made something in his life, and then he brings home his prospective wife, it turns out that she's on OnlyFans. People put it. No, she got to pay a power running. How are you as a parent gonna handle that stuff? So yeah, that's just me. I guess I may be old fashioned in that regard. I'm not saying that. Oh, and let me attack it from the other way too. Your partner is free to post what they want, because we can bring this all back to relationships, social media versus relationship. They're free to post what they want, and then it's your choice. You're free to decide how you're going to deal with it. That's putting it out there, If it's uncomfortable for you and you can't handle it, just walk. Yeah. Just walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just looking at your chat here real quick. I see my man Dwayne. High five, I did him myself. Yes, very old. Just note that Dwayne, technically we're the same age, but you're older than me. You got Ramel Mark with the ones. My mom Mario Loki in the chat. Jesus swept not only fans. Anyhow, so against that background, what we can do is we can transition. So we talked about your personal responsibility on social media, right? Like, as much as social media is a fun thing and everybody's like I've done challenges too. I did the ice bucket challenge and whatnot, but at the end of the day, still, we know you gotta be personally responsible. Now, in the context of a relationship, yeah, and I'm glad that no one seemed to think that we were talking about a woman posting her body and a man getting jealous, because we actually have a friend who has had women tell him, "You always posting yourself. You look too good. I would never date you." Yeah, or that you can never be my man because, yeah, you always say next to nothing. Man work real hard for his body, and I'm a proponent that if you work real hard for your body, right, and you spend literally how much times a week in the gym? You spend 15 hours a week in the gym, and you run in and this and that and next. You dedicate probably 30 hours a week not including the sleep and the food and everything and that nutrition, and you taking care of your body, shoot, I ain't got no problem with man or woman showing off the self, whether it be in a party or in a fete or on social media. I have no problem with that, you know. That is not my problem. But understand, if you're showing off yourself, don't come under the guise that you come in to be inspirational or you come into,
Yeah.
you know, oh shoot, you caught me unawares, beer about. No, you're showing off your body. Just call it what it is and say. I actually respect people that say, "Look at me." God damn it,
Yeah, but
no
I'll
problem.
tell you, Neil, there's a meme that I use ever so often, and it says, anytime I lose my stomach, expect me to be start acting funny. You know what I mean? I've always said, anytime I got four abs, if I got four abs, anytime I get four abs, I buy shirts. I can do this podcast shirtless. You know
You
what I
see these
mean?
two collarbones. You see these two collarbones here. I working for these two collarbones. If I could get rid of these two collarbones, right, my chest could full out. We're gonna see a different side of me, boy. I look like Superman right through. I look like Superman right through, minus the cape. Anyhow,
Yeah.
right. So relationships. Um, so here's my thing. Right. First, I can say how I feel about it. Again, I absolutely love. I would cherish a good-looking woman. Well, to me, and if she looks good enough and she feels the need, I mean, outside of the obvious, she's a fitness model or she's a well-known personality or she's a bikini model, outside of those things, if she looks good and she wants to post herself, I have no problem with it because you know what? Same thing we talked about just now. You put it out there, if you put out the sprat and you catch a whale, don't come to be telling me, oh God, I can't manage this whale. I
Exactly.
just sing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I went
But
fishing
I
for.
you went fishing, right? Now to circle back on my man Romel hooked on fitness, big up
Yeah.
every time,
Bigger
right?
every time.
Um, yeah, yes,
Check out Hooked on Fitness, guys.
yeah, check out hooked on fitness. You get the man straight, or well, I tell you, I won't be sexiest bar member come 50 here. Um, but yeah, the thing is, we were talking about with the contest relationship. I keep circling back, but with relationships, you kind of got to. You see, we always talk about this partnership. We always talk about this union, yeah, and we somehow conflate individual social media um, accounts with just being individual, even though they're together. Now, granted, again, sure, it has your name on it and whatever, but if we are together, I am not saying I have to lord over you to see what you're posting or I have to vet what you're posting. But I think we all know what is right and wrong. And I live by one of my fundamental rules in life. My number one rule, anytime, you know, I am faced with a dilemma, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is a basic principle. Then a Bible verse, that is a simple nursery rhyme thing. If I know that me posting myself in a boxer on social media can make my girl get a little jealous with all the likes and the comments and the heart emojis and you still got a woman in the DMs. If that can get my girl riled up, I can ask myself, if she was to come to me, post a pic and I see all the thing, would I be cool with it? You know what I mean? And if I am still conflicted, we have a conversation. I think we need to understand that while social media is not a real place, as you said, and we have to be very cognizant to understand that social media is not real. Social media is a distraction. It's not something that really and truly you should be dedicating so much time to. Yeah, and if you get caught up in it, you get wrapped up in it, and the likes and the follows, and you doing any and everything for that, it speaks to a level of insecurity you have. It speaks to some trauma that you need to heal from or whatever like that. And it's not. I saw one person saying for the silhouette challenge, if you if you have a problem with the silhouette challenge, you are part of rape culture. And I was like,
Okay.
one on one is not equaling two there for me because well, my problem with the silhouette challenge personally is that it looks nice, it's very sexy, it's very revealing. I have no problem with women doing it. I have a problem with women doing it without kind of considering their partner. Yeah, you sent me a video where a woman posted herself on the silhouette challenge, and a man confronted her about it, and
Yeah.
he was upset, and she was like, "Well, Colin, this is my social media account. You gotta take it or leave it. You know what I mean? You can't tell me what to post. Who's you? Yeah, it's my body. But y'all in a relationship though. And let's be honest, as I said earlier, there are creeps in this world. So if you post yourself twerking in the background or seductively dancing, men in them DMs, men in them DMs.
I
Don't let
think
me fool
the
you.
I think the real issue is you talked about healing and what is going on. What is the need? Where does the need come from for the validation? Because as you said, people get wrapped up in the likes. Apparently, some people post pics if they don't get 100 likes and take them down, that kind of thing. So, where is this need for the validation coming from? Right? Why that need? And I think that's where you gotta kind of um, dig down and drill down to find out what's the real issue. And as I do my research, again, I tell you all I do research before I come here and just talk. Um, I watch a lot of stuff and kind of simulate it. And one of the things that I discovered, the prevailing thinking among men is that, well, men who have taken the crimson capsule, is that
Sorry.
a woman a woman cannot is not comfortable with just validation from one man. For me, that's a little debatable. But if you start from there if you use that as a launching point, why do you need then all the likes? Why do you put up a bikini pic, for example, if it is that you are comfortable with what you have and your partner and stuff like that? Is it that you want the outside validation? Do you need that validation? And why do you need that validation? Can it be a case where you just say, you know what, I look good and I'm cool with it, as opposed to I look good and I want the world to see.
To know that
So
I
I want
look
the
good.
world to not only see, but I want the world to tell me that I look good.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? And then because you said do unto others, and yeah, we get that, but what if it's something because everybody doesn't process the same way? So while you may be comfortable, Neil, with your girl sharing out her stuff and all her bits and pieces
Yeah,
on
that's
social
me.
media, that's you. That may not be me, right? I
Right.
may be a bit more conservative in my thinking. I may be like, nah, I don't want my girl doing that. Um,
Mm.
and my girl may be of the opinion, well, this is my body, I want to show it off. And the guy I had before, he was cool with it. What's wrong with this dude that he can't be cool with it?
Mm.
So no, we she can't seem to process how this could be a problem for me. I know we gotta kind of try to reconcile that, right? So because she might be cool with it, and she may see absolutely nothing wrong with what she's doing. But if it's not for me, I am the person with the issue. And this is where I have now to kind of deal with it and try to deal with it on my own and reconcile. Is this something I can handle? Do I
Yes.
want the rest? Do I want the rest of the World Wide Web to see my girl in a essentially a brand party? And and when you see that, you know men in the DMs,
Yo, men coming,
men in
coming.
the DMs,
Vultures
right?
circling.
And the men they coming in the DMs to say, "Oh, you're so pleasant. Can I introduce you to your Lord and Savior?" It really ain't that, you know. They don't want
Jesus
story
Christ.
selling here. They don't want story selling here. These men in the DMs for a reason, right?
Yep. For the
So
reason. For the
for
reason.
the reason, and
Right.
it's up to me now to decide am I cool with that, right? And as a man, you got two choices to make. You got to decide, you know what? I good, I confident in my abilities. She can post what she want to post. I cool. Or you can decide, eh, you know what? This ain't really for me. And I out. But there's also a third. You can build yourself up to the point, right, where you are of such high value as a man that you can say, you know what, babes, I'm really cool with this here, you know.
Yeah, that beneath me.
This is the kind of girl this is the kind of thing I really want my girl to be doing.
Yeah.
And then you present the choice as that guy. You can try it that way and see how it goes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree. Just to read up a bit on the chat. Forget to and the dog there. That's your girl Natalia. Ramel crying. There, look, your sister here. I don't know. I probably whatever, but oh, I guess we should talk about if you get out, you out the fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dion. I know. I didn't want to commit to say it was in the Bible because I remember it, but I don't remember. I actually don't remember it's a golden rule, but forgive me. I didn't pay attention.
Skip Sunday
During
school.
what do you mind, Mister? What was Reverend Nixon?
Reverend
Remember him?
Dixon. Reverend Dixon. Canon
Dixon.
That's my
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. But anyhow, yeah. I mean, wait. Hold on a minute. Now, what's going on my phone?
There we are.
What is going? You can see me. You can see
Yeah,
me.
man. Yeah, you did.
Good
You
there?
still there.
Right, good. Yeah. But yeah. The thing about it is to touch on what you were about. You deciding you present your options to the young lady, to your partner, and they're deciding what they're about or what they're in about. I also want people to understand that your partner is well within their right. If you have not had that conversation with your partner, men or women, y'all have never really talked about you've met this person. For me, if I meet a nice young lady and I'm saying, yo, she's piquing my interest, I on social media, I want to know your Instagram. I look you up on the database that's Facebook. Because at the end of the day, I want to see what you're into. I don't want find out months down the line that you into some behavior that is not in keeping with me.
All
Yeah.
right. So hold tight with regard to that. Now, Dion is saying we in 2021, when you as a man meet this girl, you on her social media before y'all get serious. So you know she was posting so from the start. So make that decision from the get go. Don't wait till she posting after you're all together to be vexed. And Dion, amen and amen. Um, I was coming to that, but kind of got derailed a little bit in what I was saying. Um, you've already if she's that kind of girl that posting that kind of stuff as a man, if you're interested, more than likely you have already perused the entire IG. You know what posting, you know what look like
You're
where
200
is
somebody weeks. You're 200 somebody weeks
maybe
deep.
it's back, right? You have been through this profile, right?
Right.
So if you see certain things that you know you are uncomfortable with, do not go and confuse the woman. Do
Fast.
not be an unfair man. If you
Yeah.
see that and you know you cannot handle that,
Yeah. Pick
leave
up
the
and jump.
woman where she is. You
Fast.
cannot be an unfair man.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the woman like to post pictures in just a panty and cupping she breasts, and you are comfortable with that, leave the woman where she is. Do
Yep.
not come in and expect that the woman got left out what she was doing for you. Do not expect that. And it goes the other way too, ladies. So don't expect that you see a man posting certain things and doing certain things because that's another spillover. We're talking social media, but there may be certain activities a man has going, and you may come in and decide, you know what, I don't think you're comfortable with this. You meet the man in a rum shop, but you don't want the man to go to the rum shop no more because
Oh
you're in
my
a
goodness
relationship.
gracious. Woo.
You know what I mean?
Preach, Pastor,
So
preach.
there's certain things if you come along and if you've seen them and they're already established, don't try to change your body. I know they say women marry men expecting them to change, men marry women expecting them not to,
To change.
but we have to be really mindful of the fact that everybody comes to a relationship with their own bags. I like to think of it like this: a relationship is like a hotel room, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the hotel room, you walk in, you enjoy the hotel room for the time it's there. They tell you that
Mm-hmm.
you are there. When it's your stay at the hotel room is finished, don't take out the people drapes, don't take out the people linen. Leave with what you came with. Don't take out the
Uh,
people things that left out, drag around all that baggage with you. Go as you are. Keep your own baggage that you got
yeah.
going on from as a child or something that walk about with that. But don't bring all the other stuff to the other people. Let me see what this Natalia is saying. Woman
You
relationship. You get in the relationship further all of a sudden short skills apart. Exactly, Natalia. Don't do that.
Yeah, the same thing Dion here is saying, as much as men think women try to change men, in a lot of these situations, the men like these posts till the woman becomes their woman. Jackie Walters said left it out. Yeah, I mean, I can't say
Ah,
any better than that. If you got kind of, you meet me as I am, right? And I'm not saying that I should not change bad habits. I am not saying that if I am a man that's get drunk every Friday night, come home stumbling and all sorts of things, people cannot place, that I am saying if you met me like that and that's how he's getting on every Friday night, that's just par for the course. No. There are some behaviors that are destructive that you don't want your partner to bring. And even to that
agree.
fact, if you see me every Friday again drunk and
Yeah,
you got kind of make a decision, if
left
you,
me out.
because
Left
there's
me
a
where I
chance
am.
that I just will never change that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I will never not get drunk on Fridays, right? But but the thing is, on social media, man, I think we place so much importance on social media and think that it's so frivolous and trivial, but it means so many things to so many people. I actually watched, I read some articles, and there was a documentary I meant to watch on Netflix where they talk about the psychology of social media and what it does for you. It releases dopamine. It's like
Yeah,
candy. It's like sugar. It's like
correct.
you get a like, you get a post. You know, like right now we're doing this live stream. We got people watching, people commenting, people liking, people sharing. It is very easy to get wrapped up in that and to be like, oh wow, I am feeling validated for what we're doing. Next week, or those numbers may not be sustainable. Everybody knows that when you start a new project, there are going to be highs and then there are going to be lows. At some point, we may only got two people watching the
Yeah,
show. But then I can't look and say, oh dear, I talking bare nonsense. I doubting myself and stuff like that in that regard. So I think with social media, we gotta be very careful to understand. And the person that you mentioned, you say you didn't want to say her name. I won't say her name as well. But she made mention that she feels sad that these women feel like they need to do these things for validation.
to
And I
get out
feel,
of that hole.
and I actually feel sad too because it shows that one, you think that you're only good for one thing, right? And that is your body. You do not see any value, or sorry, not that you see it, but chances are you feel like that's the only way to get that quick like that quick engagement. Yeah.
Yeah,
And for some people, the unfortunate thing is you you pick up those things and you need to feel like you look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, yeah, 1,000 people say that I look good. So you know what? I look good for true. It's like you need validation. And sometimes all the validation you need is like, look at me, I go on a white button down for a podcast when I choose the night. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Why? I had a pretty emotionally roller coaster day with various things happening in my life. So I say, you know what? If I can go on social media and get flame and people say, yo, see these two men here talking bad, Joe, at least I can get down looking swaggerific. Right? So yeah. So it saddens me that people have to do these things for likes and for attention. And as you mentioned, I actually found this out recently. People take down posts when they don't get the certain amount of likes or thing. You know what I see now recently too? I'm seeing women literally doing nothing, sponsoring their pages on Instagram.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
literally like I was scrolling through Instagram one time and I was with a friend and I'm scrolling through, and I saw the sponsored thing. And I see the woman is literally the woman is not in a bikini. The woman is not, woman just like sitting on there taking selfies. And I'm wondering, so
What
I
is her
asked her,
business?
so I asked her, right, because she's a social media like guru or whatever. I asked her, you've got to pay for these sponsored ads?
Yeah,
They use got to pay, or there's like a tranche or a section of it that is free. She's like, no, you got to pay for everything. So I was like, so you have no discernible business. It's not that you're selling the clothes that you're making. It's not that you're saying that you're a model or anything like that. Why are you posting yourself taking selfies on the couch while you're watching TV?
the validation, man. That dopamine. That
Crazy.
dopamine. And I'll tell you, right? There's an artist, Amarla Negra. I don't know if anybody's familiar with her. I'm not, but I just came I just came across the story, and she was lamenting the point that she didn't seem to get the kind of forward that she was looking for, and she wondered if she had to resort then to being more sexual, showing more skin, wear less clothes. That's the thing she wondered if she had to do, as opposed to just relying on her talent and ability. So we've come to the point where it's very, very interesting. On the one hand, we have women saying, yes, I am woman, hear me roar, a more qualified, a more, okay, I see her saying something. I am more qualified and more informed more educated than women have ever been in history, right? And they're saying to you, see my
Okay.
worth,
Okay.
right? See my worth. That's what women are saying on the one hand. And then on the other hand, there's some women that say, hey, I look good. Take me on for that. You know what I
And
mean? So
yeah.
then we got this tug of war. There's
Yeah.
one artist that I follow, and I kind of like conduct social experiments. And I find it very interesting that if she is
I know
fully
you so
clothed,
well. I
if
know
she's
exactly
fully
who you're talking
clothed,
about. I know you so well. I know who this is. Go ahead.
if she's fully clothed, the pics get less likes than when she is, scantily clad. And I
Right.
find it informative, right? That particular artist is not exactly an idiot, you know what I mean? Got some sense, educated and everything. But I guess she's aware, hey, you look good. I get forward for looking good. So I showed I look good, you know what I mean? And that's where we are. I just find it a little, as you said, sad, a little concerning that that's where we are at, as Dion said earlier in 2021, where on the one hand, some women are saying, look at what we have achieved. We got a black female vice president, first time ever in history. Um, so that's a double. Oh, lost. I can't remember the term for them. Um, but black and female, so that's two in one.
Mm.
And then women empowered across the world like never before in history of time. And then we got some women that are coming back to the basic instincts and saying, hey, I look good, fly me to Dubai. And that's a new thing now. Apparently, there's a guy who's actually making money from, for want of a better term, pimping out women to sheiks in Dubai. And these women are going and they're performing some very
Illicit
interesting
acts.
acts that involve animal transport that you'll find in Dubai, camels and stuff like that. And hey, if the acts were just, sexual, you won't mind, but some of the acts involve actual excretion.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh,
and
one on one in there.
these girls are going down there. They're being paid very handsomely for it
Of
too,
course.
apparently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
But,
imagine.
but here's the challenge. Apparently, they're being paid in cash. You can't transport that kind of cash through an airport. So,
It's
so
true.
then, the money kind of gets seized, and you say she's doing these acts for nothing.
Can you
You know,
imagine filling out a source of
source of
funds,
income.
a source of declaration of funds
Request
for
form.
you got $20,000. How did you get this money?
I
Uh,
was defecated on by a camel. Signed. What? No. No.
what? Oh, that is hilarious. Reading some of the
Sadly
comments.
hilarious.
My
Sadly
girl Carrie
hilarious.
Ann, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you like the fit. Leave people things where you see them. Amen. Mama Ramel, there's a sponsored and then promoted. A sponsor is free, a promotion is paid. Interesting. Oh, well, you think that's how it goes? And then the guys reacting to something we spoke about earlier. I know what they're talking about, so we leave that there. I feel like I feel like I live on a different planet. Dion, I feel like that every day. Anyhow,
And
yeah,
Dawn Marie is seems speechless.
yeah, yeah. Just imagine the embarrassment of filling out a source of funds form, having spent a night earning $50,000 and being, yeah.
But here's the thing, Neil. Is it just worth the squeeze? Does the end justify the means at the end of the day? Because if you can take a trip, a 2 week trip, and come back home with $50,000.
What you had to do for that 50,000, bro?
But yeah,
Nobody ain't shit. I ain't saying that nobody would ever shit on me. Bring billions. I had to take a $20 billion for you to shit for me.
yeah, but
I ain't gonna like.
my mother, God bless her, my mother would say, if you can go to hell, do not go in a jackass car. Go in the biggest limousine, the fastest limousine you could find.
Yo, I love your mom, yo.
Right? Don't do these things as Natalia is saying, doing these things for thanks. That's all it is. Nah, if you will
Nah,
do these things, if you can sell your soul, make sure that it is well sold. Right?
it's true. It's true.
So
Don't half-ass selling your soul for sure.
yeah, pretty much. But I don't know if does the end justify the means. There was a lady again doing my research. Her her husband, this is what we're talking social media, right? Social media and relationships. Her husband was the athletic director at a Catholic school, right?
Mm.
He's at the Catholic school. She has two children at the Catholic school, the same Catholic school he's at, right? So you got two students and a teacher at the Catholic school. She now decides, hey, let me hold some OnlyFans, right? All right. But here's the thing, Neil. She is making 150,000 per month on OnlyFans. Now I don't
Yo,
want to know what she's doing in these videos, but she's making 150 large on OnlyFans
I'm here doing a podcast for free.
for free, Jack.
Yo,
For
uh,
free.
Ramel, get me right. When I want OnlyFans, we can show what
Yeah.
again on.
We gotta launch our the Senate OnlyFans page, right? So 150
Click the link in the
large.
bio. All right there, Mario.
So at this point, it's a Catholic school. So the Catholic, the board of the school, whatever, they says, hey, this ain't cool. You can gotta go take your two children with you because this stuff can't fly. But for me, I'm wondering, hey, 150 large, we can live on this, you know.
I mean,
Can we
a
write
hundred.
this up
As I like to say, $100 and somebody $1,000. You said a week or a month?
a month?
It don't
A
matter.
month.
It don't
It
matter. It
doesn't
don't
matter.
matter. Because that could pay a bill or two, huh? That
All
that
right.
could that would help me out.
I'm saying, I'm saying.
Sheesh.
So, is the juice ever worth the squeeze? As the young lady would have said to the original question, always remember there's going to be some backlash, right? She was getting her 150,000 and she was cool until hubby lost his job. I'm pretty sure she was making more than her husband too, but that's another story for
But no,
another
but that's $100,000 a month, boss. That's
time.
$1.2 million a year. No, sorry, yeah, $1.2 million a year.
Yeah.
Shit.
so so she got the family covered, right? She got the family covered, but her hubby lost job. Children got put out of school, right? Had to relocate. So there was the fallout, there was the backlash, as that young lady would have mentioned.
Right.
Are you prepared to deal with the backlash? And not only that, you might be prepared to deal with the backlash, but are you prepared with the backlash that your friends, family, and extended family may get? Are you able to reconcile that in your brain and you say, you know what, the ends justify the means? I going for it to hell with everybody else.
But let me add to that too, right? Because
Jackie
then
is
you got
asking if the principal was one of the fans.
more than lately. Well, well,
That's probably the
well.
only way they found out.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say that I agree. I think that we are so quick to hit send without really thinking. We think, oh, I could take the backlash, or oh, my family could take the backlash. But we also have to consider that people are weird. People will take your content and do what they feel like doing. Yeah. Photoshop is an amazing thing. I use Photoshop in my work, and I can tell you straight and plain, it's scary the amount of things you can do with Photoshop. And I don't know a third of the things that you can do with Photoshop. So I would say you gotta be very careful as a person that does digital media and use various things like sound and non-linear editing programs. You gotta be so careful with, because it's not only pictures. People could take your video content and I could make somebody say what they want. I could edit together a video to make it look like what I want. And you have to wonder, as you say, if I put out this content and me shaking my ass in a silhouette, yeah, I look damn good, or yes, I want to feel good about myself or whatever. You don't necessarily want somebody some creep to take that and quite frankly do what they want with it, right? So you got to be kind of discerning. You got to kind of understand what it means when you hit send. And in a lot of on some of these social media sites, we don't read the terms and conditions, and people some of these sites that tell you we own the content.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You post it on our platform, you post it on our
it belongs to
servers. It
us.
belongs to us. So you ain't got no leg to stand on when it comes to. I mean, granted, you may have a leg to stand on depending on the internet misuse act and that act and stuff like that in your country, but by and large, you out to pasture if you want to litigate on certain things. So I just want people to understand what social media is, right? And we every week we talk about be the best version of you, and you got to kind of understand if social media is good for your mentals. For me, very often I feel like deleting social media, Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing, because for me, and this is just me. I'm not saying people do this, but you see, I have a lot of filmmakers on my timeline, and a lot of family men and stuff like that. A lot of fashion and things that are important to me as a man. And when you see other people, because again, my son's mother had to remind me, people post their best on social media. People never post when the rent due or the
Mm-hmm.
landlord about to evict them or
Yeah.
your clothes get thrown in the street the other night and that kind of thing. Like you don't see those things on social media. So for me, I look on social media and I see men with their families being happy. I see filmmakers getting to do what they love to do. I see fashion. I see certain high end fashions that I'm like, child, I wish I could buy that watch or, I could afford those jeans or whatever. But in the end, I compare myself to those people. I compare myself to local filmmakers, to guys that I know about in my year at school that have their family, their nuclear family, and they're happy and they're living their quote unquote best life. So, and it's something that I have to be cognizant of because you get enamored with that, you get enamored with other people's lives, and then you put that against your life, and you say, "Shh,
Uh-huh.
I just ain't doing enough in my life." But when you look at it, and you look at, because I legit had to take stock of the things that I am doing in my career. Now, granted, I am not rich off of my career; I'm not making money off my career, but I do feel validated for some of the responses that I've gotten throughout my career. And I let that speak for itself when it comes to my career. In terms of my family, it's not ideal. We all grew up wishing we had a wife and children and, all of that jazz, white picket fence, dog, you
Two and a
know,
half kids.
2.5 kids. That's what we were raised on, and steady income. But as you get older, you realize it ain't that easy. So I want people to understand what social media is and to kind of understand the devil that you deal with when you sign up to these social media platforms and when you hit send to send these posts, because everything that glitters ain't gold. And you all may think, oh, this is just Instagram. Oh, this is just Twitter. Oh, this is just me in a bikini. Oh, this is just. But if you are constantly looking at your phone to see your likes, dislikes, comments, um, you know, we got to be very careful. And in the context of a relationship, I think it is very important for people to, at first, as you, Dion, and some of the people in the chat rightly said, if you know early out in the juggling that my girl or my man does, you know, only wear boxers or panty, and they like a lot of artistic thing, but they ain't a model or anything like that. If you know that that's what they get down, and you decide to go forward, you can't get vexed when it happen on your watch. If it ain't
Mm-hmm.
happen on your watch, and that's what draw you in, it can't get vexed when it happen when it on your watch.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the as you said, that's what draws you in. That's what you see.
Yep.
Because we all know, and this is kind of like a segue to the question I wanted to ask yesterday, but I said, you know what? Last week was a little contentious, so I can kind of rein it back. But I'll ask the question here for everybody else. Um, yeah, that's the stuff that draws you in. But we all know the dirt goes down in the DMs,
Yep.
right? The grease goes down in the DMs, right? So this is the question I wanted to ask. Would you give up all your social media if your partner required it of you?
Oh my God. So just to give context to this question, right? You posed this question to me quite literally 3 hours before we went live. We had so what we do is I think pretty much by weekend, going into weekend, the week before the podcast, we know what we're gonna talk about for the next. Actually, we got content for a good little while. But then, we were chatting today, and we were not even chatting.
Don't
Oh,
matter for
not me.
uh,
Yeah. So anyhow, Derek came up with this question today, and yo, it is a doozy because last week we were talking about requirements in a relationship and how all of them, from our standpoint, from our opinion perspective, it is a valid thing to have your requirements and your standards and wanting that to feel comfortable and secure in your relationship. Um, to your question, I would say if a woman asks me to uh, get rid of my social media for them because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Depending on what content I have on there, depending on what my business is in relation to that, I would have to ask for a little more. I have no problem in talking about it. I have no problem in saying, okay, I understand you feel uncomfortable with me in a speedo. Yeah. Women all in my likes and my DMs and I on the street and women saying, yo, use that man for Instagram, that you woman and this and that next. I understand. Um, but in the context of me as a like that's not my business to be a model or anything like that. I would wonder, is there an insecurity you want to talk about and address? Do you think that I will be unfaithful? Have I shown you in any which way that I will take on these comments and engage? Because it's one thing to see these comments in the social media, like you barely want carrying home, I would barely harm you, woman, this and that next. But it's another thing for me to respond in kind. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I have a woman, so I think it's very interesting that question. I would want to get to the root of it. If it is me, like as a filmmaker, I out there in a speedo showing off my muscles and flexing. All right, cool. I could cut that out. Then
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That ain't necessary. But like for our guy Ramel, that is a fitness trainer. Yeah, like
You got to advertise.
you got shoot. The man's body is his work, his resume, pretty much. He's a walking billboard. So I wonder what the people think. Let me read some of these comments here. I missed some of the comments, Tanya, while that is true, this is Dior responding to Tonya. Tonya was saying that the silhouette challenge wasn't that serious because women were doing it with undergarments on or anything like that. The fact remains, though, Tanya, is that some women did it naked, and some men or some people, I don't know if it's men or women. I don't want to cast aspersions, but people were taking it and removing the filter. So, and even if you're in your underwear, the point is, it's a silhouette. You're posting it not to be in a compromising position, which is ironic, but you know. So like Dion was saying, I missed Dion's comment again. But yeah, Dion responded to you. It's true, Dion, but this Tonya responded to Dion. That's true, Dion, but I think most people who post online understand the risk. Well, I hope so. Yeah, that's not true. Some people literally hit saying and think that the worst that could happen is that a man can just say, baby, you look fine. When really and truly, there are a lot of creeps out there and people are nasty. Dion, I think we assume they know the risk, but a lot don't. And
Yep.
that's the problem, not being able to mentally handle the sickos. Same thing I just said, agreed. Carry on. Social media is more trouble and waste timing and time wasting than it is worth. Locks, man. She's Jamaican, so forgive, you know. Neil's long way of saying no, he's keeping his social media. See what I tell you? See what is not to let certain people. I love you, Carrie Ann. Agreed with Neil. We would have to have a conversation. What are you trying to achieve? If it's an insecurity issue coming off social media, doesn't solve it. Agreed.
Amen
That's
and
my
amen,
point.
Dion.
Yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, I believe in a relationship, we are to make each other better. And if we break up, we should feel like we have become better people leaving the relationship. So if you come in with an insecurity and you say, man, look, you look real good, you're a tall man, you got long hair, this and that, and the next and the third, women always knocking down your DMs. I can say, but I don't take them on. And if you see in like one of my replies or comments and think that I am taking them on, we gotta address that because when I'm committed to a woman, I'm committed to that woman, not only her. So
I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here with Dion. I see she's saying if it's an insecurity issue coming off social media, doesn't solve it. Okay. But what if it's a case of having been down that road before and knowing, all right, as I said just not too long ago, the dirt goes down in the DMs, right? So what if your man decides, hey, you know what? We can preempt the dirt. Just come off the social media, no Facebook, no Instagram, everything. Just shut it down, right? Not that I am insecure, but hey, I know that y'all women like validation, you like the attention of men and stuff like that. So to cut that out, come off social media. Right? No social media. That way we don't got to worry about you getting tempted and then it turning into an insecurity for me.
Mm.
Just come off your social media. How about that, Dion? How, as opposed to just saying automatically is an insecurity. How about it just being a case where I am putting things in place to protect my relationship because the relationship matters to me. So, because it could be a case where he decides, you know what, I don't want my girl going out to girls' night out, for example. Now, my girl ain't going to the bar. Yeah, it might be a case we check WhatsApp too.
Mm.
Give me your phone. Because there are men that do that, right?
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
there are men
yeah.
that do that.
And I will tell anybody now, if you go looking through somebody's phone for dirt,
Be
you
prepared.
will you will find what you're looking for. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
they will have dirt, but because your mind is already in that space, even the simplest things you're going to construe into infidelity or a nefarious action. Again, I just saying, be prepared. When you're good looking, you look for what you're finding. Where
the
you
other
want to find.
the other saying no, you want to be my parent, so you're gonna check my WhatsApp too. Because if the person take, okay, I'm not sure. I can't read that one.
Because if the
They
person
probably
all off equals enough,
if it
right?
take enough
So
chat in the DMs, they're probably taking it live too, for sure. For sure.
yeah. So claps for me. Yeah, thanks. I am here to please. Um, right. So there was a point I wanted to make. I can't remember now. It keeps popping in my head in and out when we talk about social media. Um, we talked about the validation. We talked about the context of a relationship. We talked about knowing the devil you're signing up with when you sign up to these social media accounts. But I feel as though what was the point I'm trying to make? I can't remember. I lost my thought. That's
Happens.
people. These gray hairs ain't just for style,
Yeah,
huh?
it happens. It
But
happens.
but yeah, I like the engagement. I like things what people are saying. I think that if you is 2021 as Dion said, and you kind of got to understand that social media is a part of things, and you got to understand that social media will be a part of the dating process. Yeah. For me personally, I have realized that WhatsApp is not a place to have certain conversations. Yeah. Especially if you know getting to date, if you know getting to know the person, and if you start have arguments. I can attest that it's easy to fall in the trap of WhatsApp because it is impersonal. There's no, you can't read my emotions. I could pretty much tell you how I feel as raw as I feel and not be bothered with the consequence. Yeah. Like the visceral reaction of seeing and hearing you respond to it. So for me, I call the people that I love, video chat them. I don't just WhatsApp. I would say that I need to do a better job of not arguing on WhatsApp because I am guilty of that, of kind of an argument starting on WhatsApp and you kind of sticking in on WhatsApp and you don't think to pick up the phone and just talk because you're angry and she angry and. But I feel as though we got to kind of understand what social media is. WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, all this place for content. We got to understand what it is for. And it is for distraction. It is for trivial things. It is not for basing your self worth on. It is not for finding insecurities in your partner. It is not for using it to hurt and to demean your partner without visceral consequences of seeing them being hurt and crying and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just want people to understand what social media about. We got some comments here.
Yeah, Tanya is saying you can't control anybody. I know a man who works every day, the Lord saying, and never went out or spent a day with his woman and cheated with the woman next door to his workplace. So his social media doesn't stop a person. If it's gonna happen, it will happen. That guy is wow.
Mine's a
Um,
savage. That
it's
goes back to the
just
sickos that
straight.
Dion was talking about.
Yeah, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, guys. Yeah. So kind of social media. You just gotta really put yourself in a position where we talk about the abundance mindset, but that's another story for another time, probably for next week or something like that. Natalia says,
Okay.
exactly, Neil. When you go looking, you got to be prepared for what you find, and chances are, once it's in your headspace, you will find it. Talia continues, so it's a don't ask for them to cut out social media for me. Okay, got that. Let me read that again. So it's a don't ask for them to cut out social media for me. If you can't trust them, then maybe you shouldn't be involved. And Blair says social media is a tool. Amen to all of those comments. All
I
of
don't know.
those comments.
I don't know if there's anything we can add really, because I feel like we can be going over. In terms of social media and social media versus relationships, and to the question you asked about if women or people in general are looking for validation, respect, or whatever. Yeah, I'm of the mindset, just like Blair said, social media is a tool. If you go hunting with bait, be prepared for what you catch. You know, find ways to validate yourself in all aspects.
Yep,
Don't look
that's it.
at things like social media. Like I literally see social media like Broad Street, like where Lord Nelson used to be. So imagine going out by Lord Nelson in a bikini or in a speedo, and you in such a public forum just asking people, how do I
How
look?
it look.
How I
Yeah.
look? How I look? Do you like how I look? Am I attractive to you? You know? So we gotta be very careful with that because it influences your mind space, and you kind of get the dopamine hits, and you rely on it, and it could break you just as easily as it makes you. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add or talk about anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
we got
I just want to reinforce we say every week, be the best version of you, and you wouldn't have to necessarily look for the validation on social media. Surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with good friends that you know are going to. We're not talking about an echo chamber that can tell you what you want to hear, but not
mhm,
necessarily that. But people who got your best interests at heart, and people who can
mhm.
tell you, well, yeah, this is working, this is not working, this is good for you, this is not, and reinforce all the time those good things and positive stuff. Okay, let me see. Yeah, Blair is saying if she's so starved for validation, she has to touch social media. Something is wrong. Exactly. You
Facts.
know, find.
And let's sorry, Derek, not
Yeah,
to
go ahead,
cross you,
man.
but let's not get on the she, Let's not get on the she, because we always talk about women looking for validation and for attention, but men love some men, just like some women, love validation and attention too. Let
Agreed.
us let us not let us not get into this is only a feminine thing, right?
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah. As I was saying, don't get here echo chamber where you're only hearing the stuff that you want to hear, but you know, just surround yourself with good people. We have our own little forum outside of this. We got good people in that chat, up to today. That shone through for me. It was clear that we had good guys in that chat.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it wasn't always the softest way to hear stuff, but it was stuff
yeah,
that needed to be said, and
yeah.
it was all said with love. You know what I mean? So surround yourself with good people, and you will find that less and less you need the validation of some people that you don't know. And let's be real, guys. How many times do you scroll through Instagram and you just like it? You don't even really look. You just we,
Like,
we go through Instagram like this. It's
yeah,
short
dude.
form content. So we just go through click, tap, tap. You don't even go double tap anymore. Hit your heart, bram, hit your heart.
You don't read
One
it. You
tap.
don't read the caption. You don't read the
Yeah,
caption. You
you just keep
don't.
it tracking. And it takes
Yeah,
nothing off some people to do that. So it's not really, it's just a dopamine hit, as we said earlier. but it's nothing substantial for you. So surround yourself with good friends, family, and that is where the validation is going to come from. And you'll find you need the social media less and less.
I just want to add, for me, I remember what you want to talk about there. I remember. Ha
Punch it in.
ha. Still got a little black hair.
Yeah, that's how it
Um,
is. Yeah.
so there was a comment made about this about sexualized. So we often hear about the patriarchal system and how women and society at large, by and large, have been socialized to see women and objectify women, and content is very sexualized, right? But for me, I find challenges like the silhouette challenge, Titty Tuesday, all these different challenges that there are. Yes, there's a Titty Tuesday.
Yes, there is.
Do not go looking for it if you do not want to be
Stunned.
shocked. Yeah. But yeah, if you check right, a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men, a lot of people say that men are the problem in sexualizing women. But I find it interesting that a lot of these challenges come out of women. They come out of the camp of women. And I question why, and I know I know we talked earlier about empowerment and we talked about uplifting women. Women have issues with their body and they just want to feel sexy, etc., etc., etc. Or women just don't value themselves enough and want that validation. But it begs me to question if I literally have seen women say that men are the problem. Men are the ones that sexualize the content and have us thinking the way they do. But then they will post a picture of their cleavage. And it makes me wonder, okay, so on one hand, you are against sexualized content and you think that this content is what men want. We want to see women's hips, breasts, behind everything. But yet still you go there and you appease to that, even if it isn't a moment of self-empowerment. Like you have to know, that that is also part of the problem too, where you are putting out content that is feeding into that machine, right? You're feeding into that sexualization of content. And if you keep, again, if you got a banging body and you feeling yourself, or you work hard for your body, or well, in today's age you pay enough
You
for it.
pay for it.
I
Yeah.
have no problem in you showing, if you're showing it off, but don't then come in another breath and say that men. I, you talked a bit earlier about an artist, right? I actually remember the story of the Black Eyed Peas before they became the official Black Eyed Peas with Fergie, right?
Yeah.
There was a woman before then, a black
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was the woman in place for. She was the original Black Eyed Pea
Uh-huh.
woman, right? Beautiful voice, but they told this. I watched the documentary on it, and the reason why she was replaced with Fergie is because they told her, that was around the time of the Fugees. So the Fugees were very, urban.
Mm-hmm.
Women like Lauryn Hill
L'Oreal.
dressing in jeans and baggy clothes and hair plait up, and their record label wanted to go in a different direction, and they wanted her, because she had a powerful, soulful voice. They wanted her to be a bit more um, risque in her appearance. They wanted her to wear
Uh-huh.
shorter clothes, tighter clothes. She had a nice body, so they wanted to show it off. They said, no. If I am going to be validated for my art, if I am going to be applauded for my art, let it be for my art. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let it be that girl look real good. I get to sing too. Let it be, my God, she can sing full stop. To
Yeah.
me, that is taking up a stance to the sexualization and the patriarchal system that a lot of people like to perpetuate and to put out there. Simple and
But
plain. If
but
you are against it, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, but it goes back to what I asked a little earlier with the lady on OnlyFans. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Because that lady, because I remember watching that documentary as well, and she had fallen on hard times essentially
Times,
because
yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
couldn't pay
Because
the
her
rent
career,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
You know, Fergie
She
was
well,
covered.
Fergie, yeah,
Fergie covered. So
and is covered, remains covered.
exactly. So you got to kind of decide. Does the end justify the means? Fergie took off her clothes and she was comfortable and she good. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but then
This other
but
lady,
then
she did it, and now she's struggling.
yeah, and the thing is, they asked her in the documentary if she had wished she complied with the record label. If she, you know, if she had done what the record label had asked her to do, if she would be in the same position as Fergie, if going back in time to do it, she said no.
Yeah, she
She
was
has no career. I
comfortable
mean,
with her
the woman had
decision.
made, like, she is times better than Fergie in terms of singing. Like, it didn't even. I don't even think they're comparable. Um, and she definitely would have given them a much different sound than what they became. Um, but it is unfortunate because she had fallen on hard times. She can pay her rent, and her career didn't go anywhere. Even with being, and the thing is, she was with the Black Eyed Peas at a point where, they weren't really the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, they
They,
were
they
getting
hadn't
ready
hit
to.
off. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I think we gotta be very careful with the rhetoric that we talk about. We talk about sexualization. And if you want to talk about sexualization and validation and empowerment, don't be on social media taking at every challenge, men and women.
Yeah.
There it says be the best version of you, right? Is the best version of you doing a half naked challenge or showing off your pecs or your abs or whatever? Was what like what?
Especially as I said earlier, in these times when women are fighting to be acknowledged as equal, are fighting
Yep,
for
yep,
to be recognized as more than just you know breasts and hips.
yep. Because
So
yep,
do you want to keep going back to that because
yeah,
that's what it comes over as. That's how men see it. That's how we view it. Is going to be a case of if you want to impress me with your brand, if that's what you want to impress me with your brand.
yeah.
But don't tell me hold a breast too. You know, if we looking at equality and we looking at empowerment, right? That's what we're really looking at. Let's be
Mhm.
consistent with that.
Yeah, because it's not. I don't see it as. I am so desensitized to half naked women on Instagram, right? Like in certain group chats, people put up that content and I don't even click on it when I can see the thumbnail. I like, all right, I know what that is, and I'm not impressed by it anymore because I will never meet you. I will never sleep with you. We will never get together. What was this content doing for me? Right? Was this
It's eye
content?
candy,
And
man.
if you
Eye
want to,
candy.
but if you want to empower yourself, if you want to empower yourself, show me more than your body. Yeah, because right now everybody got a banging body. It ain't hard to get a banging body in these
Yeah.
times. Whether you're plus size, whether you're petite, whether you're in between, it ain't hard, especially with the clothing that is out there, to look banging. Even men, shoot, you know, clothes are getting a bit tailored and fitted and stuff like that. You can look really nice being 120 pounds as a man, at 5'6", just how you dress.
All
So
right. Hold tight, hold tight. We got some comments coming in here now. All right. Tanya is saying, but a human is not only their art, their job. A human is a body too. Maybe people are comfortable with being. Let me don't lose that. Comfortable being admired or acknowledging the entire person, because everybody who exposes themselves doesn't look great. Very true. Some are showing they are accepting themselves as they are. Body positivity. I got a friend who would say that anytime you put positivity after something is to kind of excuse some of the stuff that's going before it. Um,
uh,
Carrie Ann is saying, stop asking for equality and pay attention to equity. Men or women are
oh,
not Men and women are not meant to be equal but compatible based on equitable empowerment. Ooh, Carrie Ann, you're
I
preaching
think
up in
she
here
I think she
tonight.
I think she said that to see my reaction because we talk about equity versus equality in men and women so often. People don't really want equality. People want, or they should want equity and not equality. But that's a conversation for another time. Continue, Derek.
Yeah, Anastasia is saying COVID coma is real, not just professionally but otherwise. People got creative in all the wrong ways, being locked down, not being noticed. Not being noticed. Where am I? Where am I? And it showed TikTok went wild. Celebrities started OnlyFans, even celebrities that you would never thought would crave attention. I think people, women and men, especially now, seem to need constant validation, and it leans on the mental state with being locked down. The men version of the silhouette challenge was far more shocking with all their tools at the door.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank God I didn't come across many versions of male versions of the silhouette challenge. Praise
Definitely.
God.
I see Blair is saying sex needs to become the cherry on top and not the whole cake. Amen. We need to get away. I mean, sex is easy and sex is lovely. I love sex. We all love sex. Sex is amazing. Yeah. But
Amen.
let us stop basing our interactions, our initial interactions with that, because sex is easy, people, and there's several consequences from sex that ain't so easy to get out of. Because
So
yeah,
very true.
you may say, this woman look good, boy. I really want to do a thing. You do a thing and she becomes pregnant. And then you realize that you got a jackass for a child mother.
Yeah.
And that I
Stuck
know
to
a buddy,
18 at least.
I know a buddy of mine, good friend of mine. The man got a child mother that is a goat and a half. The woman is the epitome of evil. To the point where he used to tell me stories that I was like, they're making up things now. Like you just nah. I need to hear her side of the story. And I saw it for myself, live and in person. And sex is easy here, people. I know it hard. I know it hard, but
Praise Him.
anyhow. Derek boy, I think having too having too much fun. Um, yeah. I don't know what else we could add. I don't know. Right now we at what? We at an hour and 36 minutes. We went over the 10 o'clock. We got maybe we could go to 10:30, but I don't know if you want to wrap up. To me, I am pretty comfortable with where things
I'm
are.
pretty comfortable. Just kind of looking into next week and what we can
Oh
talk, we can tackle.
boy, you, you,
There's so
you
many
get him a
things.
little, you get him a little free pool.
I wondered
Holy,
if you should put up a poll because I kind of want to talk a little bit about open marriage and
oh
entanglements.
no.
How feasible, realistic that is. I also really want to talk about divorce too. Maybe you could put the two of them together next week. Open
Mhm.
marriage, entanglements, divorce. Um,
In various stages of relationships.
yeah, maybe we could do that next week. Uh, Considering my guy Dr. Dre, all he's been going through,
Oh my goodness.
I really, wa- I
Man,
really
the
want to touch
man be
us
hot
on Dr.
one
Dre.
thing.
Yeah, I really want to touch us on Dr. Dre. I also thinking about touching us on Lionel Richie. You know, Lionel Richie's got a girlfriend that's younger than we are. That'd be
that's younger than almost to our child
everybody
our
in
children's age.
chat. And Lionel Richie, I do not remember as a teenager. So I always like of Lionel Richie. He was a grown man. And
Grown
he has
hard back.
a growing hard about man is the same, but
His girlfriend is what, 30,
30,
29 or something like that?
30.
30.
30 years old.
His,
So that's something we really to
his
talk about too.
seven. Yeah.
Because it's kind of wrapping up hypergamy and male and female value all in one. But I think we can do a divorce next week. Divorce,
My
open
girl Natalia
marriage.
said, boy, I got divorced down pat. Oh Lord,
Okay,
Natalia.
all right, we got to vote for divorce already. So I think we could talk about.
Oh,
Yeah, we can be a wrap. Yeah, his daughters, two. He has two daughters. You think are older than his girlfriend. So yeah, we can look at open marriage slash entanglements and and divorce. It should be it should be interesting. I
interesting.
read you, Blair.
I
I read you,
actually
Blair.
I actually look forward to your questions because I just be like, bomb about to drop. Anyhow, people, I think we've taken up enough of your time. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, for watching, for commenting, for sharing, for liking. We're the Senate podcast. For those of you that don't know, we are talking as two young men with various experiences as men and as men in 2021 and as men that have had previous relationships and we have children. So we just spitball and letting people know who we are and what we are from our perspective, our experience. We're not gurus. We are not you know pundits. We are just two men with a lot of experience, good and bad. And signing off, again, let me man Derek do it because he has a saying that I love and I think we should close every show with.
Be the best version of you.
Amen. Thanks everybody for watching, and until next week.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
I got this feeling, yeah.